Hi, hello, namaskar. Myself Mahesh Prasad from Department of Physics. As you know, well, dear students, we are in a topic that is nothing but thermal properties of matter, right? So, well, we have discussed many topics under this particular concept, like the conversion of temperature by using different scales, and also we have seen different types of expansions like linear expansion, area expansion, and volume expansion, and also in the previous class we have discussed about principle of calorimeter as well as specific heat capacity of a substance and molar specific heat. So these are the basic concepts we have discussed so far, right? So now in today's class we will study about the transfer of a heat in a particular medium. Okay, so before getting to this particular topic, I'll ask one question. Normally you might have visited a different kind of beaches, we have many beaches in our region, like which are the beaches like Panambur beach, Someshwara beach, Pillal beach, and the Thandirbavi beach. So these are the many beaches you might have visited. So normally if you have visited during a daytime, you might have observed the sea water you may feel colder, correct? And also if you have visited during the night, you might have feel the same sea water is little warmer than a day sea water, correct? And why it is so? Why this is happening? What is the physics behind this? What makes the colder as well as warmer? So you will get the answer for each and everything in today's class. Let's start with our today's class with the basic the basic explanation of heat transfer. By the way, what do you mean by heat? Heat, which is nothing but a form of energy which flows from body at higher temperature to lower temperature. Yes or no? So similarly, whenever the heat is moving from one point to another point, we have different types of processes, like different types of modes of transfer of heat we can find over here, like conduction, convection, and radiation over here. So which are those? Conduction, convection, and radiation. Fine. And also we have seen in terms of a conduction process, what we can observe here in terms of conduction process. Conduction, which is nothing but it's a process of the transmission of heat will take place without the actual movement of the particle. In the sense, you take the metal conductor. What is this? Metal conductor. Your job is to imagine or assume. So now, if I start heating at one particular point, don't you think after some time the heat can flow from one point to another point over here? Yes or no? Yes. Now, do you think, since it is a solid, do you think a solid particle will move from one point to another point? No. So, actually, in solid, we cannot say there is a actual movement of particle. We can say the transmission of a heat can take place without the actual movement of the particle. Are you getting? So, this is how exactly we can find in terms of conduction process. Which process? Conduction process. Which example you can give over there? The heating of a metal rod. Okay, fine. And also, you can find convection. It is a very easy process as well. It is a process in which transmission of heat will take place with the actual movement of the particle. What do you mean by actual movement of the particle? You take one beaker and pour water over there and you start heating this. So what happens? Don't you think the particle, you might observe kind of bubble while heating any water over there? Don't you think? Yes, which means with the actual movement of the particle, we can say that after some time, the top surface of the liquid, you may feel warm. Why it is so? Because you are already started heating in the bottom of the beaker over there. So that there is the actual movement of the particle will take place. So this is how exactly we can find in terms of what? Convection. So in convection, you suppose to get one more word, that is a sea breeze. What do you mean by sea breeze? Sea breeze, the question which I raised in the beginning. Why what is the reason behind during the daytime the sea water is colder? Correct? You will get the answer here. In terms of convection. Why? Because normally we have sand in a sea nearby seashore, right? So the thing is, the sand which is having a lesser specific heat. We know the basic relation between temperature and the specific heat, that is nothing but this. Your specific heat is inversely proportional to temperature. During the daytime, obviously, since a sand which is having a lesser specific heat, to get a lesser specific heat, it can absorb more amount of temperature. So the temperature of the sand is comparatively greater during the daytime, which means if I say this is a seashore or a sand over here, and if I say it is water or sea water, during the daytime, what happens? Here what happens? Temperature is more in the sand, so that what happens? The colder air from sea water will move towards land somewhat like this. So this is what exactly is happening over here. Since the high pressure is created on the surface of sea water, we know pressure can move from higher pressure to lower pressure, so that what happens? The colder air from sea will move towards land. So this is called as sea breeze. So that we can have over here, that is the colder region. So here we have a hotter region, here we have colder region. So during the daytime. So think about it in terms of night. Night we can say that is the land breeze. That is the land breeze. Land breeze represents what? So normally during the night we can say sand is normally colder than sea water. So this is the land and this is the sea water. Are you getting? So normally since we have a greater temperature over here, the air from land will blow towards the sea water over here. So here we have the colder region and here we have hotter region. So during night we can say. So why is this possible? Just because of specific heat capacity. Specific heat capacity in the sense what? It is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of unit mass. To get since we know your sand which is having a lesser specific heat, so that it can absorb more amount of temperature. So if temperature is greater, what happens? So sand is having greater temperature during daytime, so that this water you may feel it is a cold during daytime. So this is what is happening in convection process. Okay, fine. And similarly, next one we have that is the radiation process. Radiation in the sense what? You might have heard that radiation is coming from sun to earth. So exactly this is right. Why? Because it is a process in which the transmission of heat will take place without affecting a medium. Don't you think there is a sun over here and here is the earth over here. So sun can exhibit heat energy in the form of radiation, so that radiation is going to come from sun to earth without affecting the medium. Are you getting? So do you think any particle will vary over here? Nothing is going to happen. Which means the radiation of the heat energy which comes from sun to earth, which is not going to affect any medium. So this is what exactly we can find under the topic of what? Radiation. So basically we can have different modes of transfer of heat through conduction, convection and radiation. Okay, fine. And we will discuss more about the conduction process, because we have one law that is nothing but the law of thermal conductivity in terms of conduction process. We will discuss that. Well, we'll discuss, well dear students, we'll discuss that is law of thermal conductivity, okay, in terms of conduction process. What do you mean by conduction process? It's a process of a transmission of heat will take place without affecting without the actual movement of the particle. In the sense, I have taken one the metal slab over here, or let us consider these two slabs which is having a distance between, this is one face I can have, this is one face, and the other face which is there somewhat like this, and this is other face. Okay, so this is other face I can have. Well, so how many faces we have? One face is here and other face is here. Now, the distance between these two faces, if I take it as d over here, now your job is to heat at one particular point. Okay, so if I maintain one point as let us say I have maintained at one particular point A as 50 degrees Celsius. How much? 50 degrees Celsius. Don't you think after some time this heat can transfer from point A to point B over here? Correct? So now what I am wanted to say here is that if I maintain the temperature as theta 1 at one phase, don't you think the theta 2 is as the temperature of other phase over here? So according to the definition, according to the law of thermal conductivity, what it says that when a heat transfer from one medium to another medium, we can say that this Q is, when Q is a transfer of heat from one point to another point, is directly proportional to area of cross section of the particular slab over here. Okay. So this is directly proportional to the area of the cross section, of slab, and also this is directly proportional to, this Q is directly proportional to, we can say, the temperature difference between the two ends, also it is equal to theta 2 minus theta 1. Got it? So the temperature, that is the temperature difference, between two ends, the two ends of the slab over here. Okay? And also directly this Q is directly proportional to the time taken to reach out a heat from one point to the or one point to the point over here. Okay, so it is also equal to time taken, which is also equal to time taken to transfer the heat from one point to another point. Okay, and this Q, which means heat transfer, is inversely proportional to the distance between the two phases. That is the distance between two phases. Okay, so this is what exactly we can find. Or in terms of equation, if I want to write, I can write it as Q is directly proportional to what we have. Q is directly proportional to, that is area of cross section, and also directly proportional to the temperature difference between the two ends of, that is the theta 1 minus theta 2. Theta 1 minus theta 2 over here. And also directly proportional to time taken to reach out the heat from one point to another point. We can take it as T over here divided by what is inversely proportional. We have the distance between the two ends of the conductor or slab we can have. That is nothing but a D over here. Are you getting? Yeah. So now this Q is, which is equal to, since we have some relation in terms of some proportional, if we want to write some equation, we need one constant, correct? The Q which is equal to, that is a K into A into theta 1 minus theta 2 into T divided by D, which is equal to this. where K is called as a coefficient of thermal conductivity. Where K is called as what? It's a coefficient of thermal conductivity. What is the SI unit I can have? What is the SI unit of what would be the SI unit for coefficient of thermal conductivity you can have over here? That is nothing but if I want to write with respect to K over here, what I can write? That is a Q into D divided by A into theta 1 minus theta 2 into T. Yes or no? Yes. So now, what is the SI unit of heat energy over here? Energy in terms of a joule. So I can write the SI unit for this particular case. I can write that is a joule. Then D is a distance, that is in terms of meter, divided by what is the area? Area is a meter square. Area is a meter square. What is the temperature we can have? Temperature in terms of a Kelvin. So Kelvin comes into the picture. Then T is called as in terms of time, that is nothing but the seconds. So this will get cancelled. What is remaining? SI unit. The SI unit for K. SI unit can be joule per second per Kelvin per meter. So this is how exactly we can find the SI unit for coefficient of thermal conductivity. So this K is called as what? Coefficient of thermal conductivity. In different reference books you can find different word, like in some reference books you can find this coefficient of thermal conductivity in terms of letter B over here. Okay, so these are that depends on the authors who is going to write the book. So normally we can take K as the thermal or coefficient of thermal conductivity. Fine. So what do you mean by law of thermal conductivity? That when the heat transfer from one point to another point in the conductor is directly proportional to its area of cross section and the temperature difference between the two ends of the conductor and the time taken to reach out from one point to another point, and inversely proportional to the distance between the two ends of the conductor. So this is what exactly we can find under the law of thermal conductivity. Okay, fine. Well, we'll see what exactly the latent heat of a substance. In general, we'll discuss what exactly it is. It's like specific heat capacity. The same definition comes into the picture. The thing is like alternation is there in terms of latent heat. Latent heat in the sense, it's like if you take one ice cube which is maintained at 15 degree minus 15 degrees Celsius. I want to convert this minus 15 degree Celsius of ice cube into what? How I can convert? First, I suppose to bring this minus 15 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius, then 0 degrees Celsius to whichever temperature I want. Correct? So this is a process we can have under latent heat at constant temperature. In the sense, the quantity of heat required to convert the state of unit mass of a substance completely into another system at constant temperature. So this is what exactly we can find as a latent heat. In terms of equation, if I want to write, I can write like the quantity of heat required, that is Q, the quantity of heat required to convert unit mass of a substance completely into another system at constant temperature is equal to latent heat, where Q is the amount of heat required to convert the amount of substance is a fixed value, then we can call it as L is the latent heat of substance. So what would be the SI for this I can have over here? It's very simple. the SI unit for latent heat, that is the latent heat I can have, like what I can have, that is nothing but, what is the SI for Q, that is nothing but heat energy, that is nothing but a joule. What could be the SI for mass of substance in terms of kg? I can write joule per kg. Joule per kg is the SI for what? Latent heat. So in terms of you can define this is latent heat of fusion of a solid as well as latent heat for liquid as well. How we can define latent heat of fusion of a solid over here? It's very simple. The quantity of heat required to convert solid into liquid or solid into completely liquid at its melting point. Okay, what is the melting point of solid? If I take ice cube, first you have to bring, as I told in the beginning, if I have a minus 15 degrees Celsius of ice cube, that is nothing but a kind of solid. If you want to convert that particular ice cube into liquid, first I suppose to bring this minus 15 to 0 degrees Celsius, then I suppose to go with 0 degrees Celsius to, that is nothing but 30 degrees Celsius. So this is nothing but latent heat. Without changing its temperature, we are converting from one point to another point. Okay? By applying some heat. So this is what exactly we can find, that is the latent heat. So we'll solve some numerical so that you are going to have a clear picture about this particular phenomena. Okay? Well. Well, dear students, we will solve a numerical. Based on this, we will try to get the basic relation of the law of thermal conductivity as well as the latent heat over here. Fine. So there is a thermocol box is there, which is having a dimension of a cubical box, that is the side of 30 centimeter as a thickness of 5 centimeter. In the sense, it looks like somewhat like this. The cubical box, each side they have maintained as, since the cubicle, each side they have maintained as, that is a 30 centimeter. Okay. Then the thickness of this thermocol box, this thickness, they have given it as a 5 centimeter. There is a 5 centimeter thickness, the thickness of the thermocol box. If 4 kg of ice is put inside the box, your job is to keep the 4 kg of ice inside the thermocol box. Estimate the amount of ice is remaining. The amount of ice remaining after 6 hours. After 6 hours, what could be the ice can be left out inside the thermocol box? We are supposed to calculate. So initially, you have kept 4 kg of ice inside the thermocol box. Each dimension of the thermocol box is 30 centimeter and thickness is having how much thickness we have? It is 5 centimeter. Okay, and given the outside temperature is around 45 degrees Celsius, and the coefficient of thermal conductivity of thermocol is given as 0.001 watt per meter per degree Celsius, and the heat fusion, in sense latent heat of ice, the latent heat of water, because it is going to convert, the latent heat of water is given as 335 × 10⁻³ joule per kg, and your job is to find what is the remaining amount of ice is remaining inside the thermocol box after 6 hours. So we will try to solve this. Okay. What is given over here? The length of the thermocol box is given as in terms of cube. They have given it as L as 30 centimeter in terms of 30 into 10 to the power minus 2. Then since it is a cubical box which is having 6 faces, right? So what would be the area for this? I can have area which is equal to 6 into L over here. Yes or no? So this is how exactly we can find, or 6L square we can have. So area is the length into breadth. Since we have 6 faces, 6 into L square comes into the picture over here. So that what we can have, so altogether we can have around 2.54 meter square. Okay. This is how exactly we can find over here. This is the thing since 0.54 meter square as the area I can have over here. And also according to the relation of thermal conductivity, what is the formula we have? What is the formula we have? That is nothing but Q, which is equal to K into theta 1 minus theta 2, correct? Or theta 2 minus theta 1 into what we have? Time divided by D. Now we know we have got area as well over here. This is the area is T K into A is well. So area we have got. Then what is the time taken? What is the time after how much minute we supposed to check? Left out ice inside the thermocol box after 6 hours. Which means time T is equal to 6 hours into 3600. Because your job is to convert hour to second over here. Why 3600? Because 60 into 60. 60 minutes into 60 seconds. That's why we can expect around 2.16 into 10 to the power 4 seconds. So what is the thickness is given? What is the thickness we have? It is 5 centimeter. The D we have 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. So what is the temperature? That is the theta 2 minus theta 1. Theta 1 is equal to 45 minus 0 is equal to 45 degrees Celsius. Okay, fine. Now, what is the K value is given? What is the temperature? What is the thermal conductivity of thermocol is given? That is K value is given as 0.01 watt per meter per degree Celsius is given. So, substitute all the values over here. You are going to have, that is a K value that is 0.01 into area we have got 0.54 into, correct? Into the temperature that is a 45 into that is a 2.16 into 10 to the power 4. That is the time taken divided by what is the thickness we have over here. Thickness of the thermocol they have given it as 5 into 10 to the power minus 2 is given over here, right? So the Q value we can have around 1.05 into 10 to the power 5 joule we can have. Okay. So now this is the amount of heat is going to transfer from inside to outside. If it is so, we have given the heat or the mass of water is left out over there. There is nothing but the mass of heat, the mass of ice which can be left out inside the particular thermocol box. We can get it as, we know L which is equal to Q by M, or M which is equal to Q by L, which is equal to, what is the Q value we have? What is the Q value we have? Q value we have got 1.01 into 10 to the power 5 divided by what is the latent heat of water they have given, that is 335 into 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3. If it is so, what I can have over here? So what is the mass? What the mass is left out over here? That is nothing but 0.313. Correct? So 0.313 kg. So the mass of ice left out after 6 hours. The mass of ice left after 6 hours. What I can write? What is the initial mass we had in the box of our thermocol? It is a 4 kg, and this is the mass is going to less we supposed to in terms of water, which is converted over here. So this is the mass of water. So now that is the 4 minus 0.313 can be taken as 3.687, right? 3.687 kg. So this is the left out ice after 6 hours. Are you getting? So this is how exactly you can find the left out mass inside the particular thermocol box. Okay. So if that varies, if you want to find 8 hours, here you multiply by 8. So this is how exactly if they vary the width of the box, this also can be varied. But the thing is, this could be the left out ice inside the thermocol box after how many hours? 6 hours. Fine? Well, so by this way we can find the different varieties of a numerical can be asked in terms of conduction. Okay? So we'll see in the next class. Till that, bye bye.